Hello everyone, and welcome to today's class on gender roles. We are going to be talking about men and the roles of men in society, and women and their roles as well, and how they have changed, how sort of new civil liberties have been granted to women in particular in many parts of the world in the West. And yeah, we're going to discuss our general opinions on these changes and where we think men belong in society and where we think women belong. So it does promise to be it's obviously quite a heated topic, we could say. If a topic is a heated topic, it means people have lots of opinions about it. Sometimes it could be quite easy for arguments to break out, or people to think about different assumptions and that kind of thing that they have about each other. So hopefully we'll try to keep that to a minimum, and who knows, we may find out we all think the same thing, so that would be a nice result. So we'll just wait for a couple more students to join. Hello Igor and Inga, lovely to see you.
Yes, hi.
Welcome, welcome. Igor, when will I ever get to see you, or Inga, instead of a BMW symbol and a silhouette?
I didn't have a web camera.
Okay, it's a good excuse. Inga, what's your excuse? Oh, silence. I think a microphone's broken.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I hear you. What did you say?
I have this big ideal that I'm really hope for, where everyone, for some reason, when Verbline started like a year ago, or not quite, no, it was more than a year ago, but when I started, everyone used the webcam.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone, but most people. So it was really fun because you had like 8 or 9 different faces, and you could see their facial expressions, and you know, like Roman, for example, who we can see who's just got out of bed. He disappeared again. And it's kind of fun because everyone sees each other, and it's like being in a room together. And obviously, no one is pressured, and no one has to do this. But I like to put pressure on my students because I'm selfish, and and no one has to do this. But I think it's a fun way to interact, and I think this is like the future to me. I think Google Hangouts is fantastic. Video conferencing is fantastic, and I think as internet speeds keep increasing, this kind of thing will become much more common. For example, I thought about it for, do you know what support groups are? Support groups. A support group is something like Alcoholics Anonymous or Drugs Anonymous, or people who have, people who survived, like war veterans or things like that, people who want to get together to talk about, you know, serious issues that are affecting them. And I thought the idea was to use this for people who were very far away from each other, but they had this thing they wanted to talk about, but it's not practical for them to go in because they live in a very small town or something like this. So they have these support groups in big cities, of course, they have many, but there are people, you know, spread very far and wide, even from different countries, who could come together in a Google Hangouts to talk about this kind of thing. And it just makes it a little bit more personal if you can actually see each other. That's the only thing. But, sorry, Metin?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so that's, you'll just get a bit of I will just pester you maybe once every few months until you get sick of me. But I would love it if everyone did that. How do I turn my video off? Maybe, wait a second.
Can anyone hear Zach?
Yeah.
I didn't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get the lesson going. Sorry for giving you a hard time. Roman, nice to see you as well. So we have the this handout about gender roles. Can everyone see it? I'll post it into the chat in case no one can see it. Can everyone click on that, please? This is going to be a great lesson, by the way. Wait a minute. Did my video go off? Can people not see me?
We don't see.
Yeah, we can.
You can. Okay. Okay. Now you can. Okay. Sam sees me. Okay. Does everyone have this open? Okay. So we're going to spend about 15 minutes on this, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're going to have a debate about gender roles. Okay. So this is just a warm-up exercise to get us going. Surprised to see women doing more traditional gender roles in most households. Children come. Yeah, let's start. Well, I take it back. We'll do a bit of debate now. We'll ask some of these questions, and it should get some debate going around it. So if you see at the top, there's one question: are women typically the primary caregivers in your country? Does anyone know what a primary caregiver is?
I don't know.
No. Primary caregiver is the person in a family who is usually, especially when it comes to law, like family law, who is seen as having the responsibility to look after children. Or someone who's sick as well. It could be someone who's sick as well. So it's anyone who cannot look after themselves. It could be a father, it could be a child, something like that. So, Kevin, what's it like in China?
In Chinese society, usually the man has the responsibility to make money. So they have to go to make money and daily to work, and they are not supposed to stay at home. And so in Chinese society, usually the woman will
be the primary caregiver.
Will take this role as the primary caretakers, and I think that this is a social phenomenon in the Chinese society.
Social phenomenon in Chinese society. Excellent. Okay, thank you. How about Inge? What is it like in Armenia?
Yes, women are the primary caregivers in our country, because here Armenians think that if you are married, in girls' case, yes, women must sit at home, do housework, and care for children.
Okay. So it's the same in Armenia and China in a way. Yeah. Okay. What jobs, Igor, would you be surprised to see a woman doing?
Physical jobs. As a construction worker, I would be surprised to see a woman. As a plumber, as a maybe driver, it's not so usual to see. Yes, I see women that drive buses, but for me it's not quite usual. I think for women is not interesting to do these jobs. I mean, as a driver.
As a driver?
They can, but it's unusual for me.
Okay. Yeah,
as a driver. Taxi driver, maybe.
But not a truck driver.
Yeah, but as I said, for me it's not usual to see a woman to drive a bus or a truck, whatever transport. I mean.
Why do you think it's not interesting to them?
I think women are more, how we can say that, not so strong as a man.
Okay. Physically.
What word we can use?
No, they don't have the same physical makeup or physical constitution as men. I think
they are more sensitive, or how we can say.
Yeah.
So
we have to be very careful when we use the right words, because it can be easy to offend people.
This is from my point of view. So if someone is not agree, it's okay.
That's true.
I see women as they do not so physical jobs, where to put more physical activities. I don't know, they should do, from my point of view, more easier jobs.
But not more easier, just easier.
Easier jobs.
Yeah, or more easy jobs. Okay. I think some might. Does anyone disagree with Igor on any of those points? Jezebel, where are you from? Jezebel? Nope. Metin, can you hear me? Can everyone still hear me? Can someone just say something? Yeah, you can. Okay, good. Okay, so Jezebel and Metin are not speaking. Awa, are you there? I don't know how this happens. I think if you come into the Google Hangout and you have a microphone, I don't know why.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, sorry, I'm not angry. I'm genuinely confused because I think sometimes people come in and they actually can't talk.
No, I can talk.
Okay, where are you from, Awa?
I'm from France.
France. Okay, excellent. Well, what do you think about what Igor just said? Do you agree?
No, I'm not. I'm not agree. I think women can.
I'm not agree. I don't agree. You do
I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't agree.
I don't agree. I think women can do all kind of jobs, and they can be as good as a man. They can drive trucks or bus.
But I don't think Igor was saying that they couldn't necessarily. I think.
Yeah, I agree that they can do all kinds of jobs that they men do, but it not fits them from my point of view. I think if I would have a wife, I wouldn't want she to work. I wouldn't want she or her to work. Her to work on the taxi or the bus driver or plumber or something like that. I would want maybe she to be a teacher, in school, from my point of view, but not something.
Igor? What are the reasons that you would not want her to work in one of these jobs?
Because I think it doesn't fit a woman.
But what if she wants to? But if she wants to do that, then what is your reason for saying like?
She wouldn't want, because I would choose a wife that she's a woman. So from my perspective of view, I don't know. In English, it's very hard to explain, but
you're doing a fine job. I think. I think that's a good point. Is you would probably be with someone that also shared that view, right? Because a lot of women do share that view. On the other hand, a lot of men share the view of Awa as well.
They can definitely work on construction, but it doesn't fit from my point of view.
Okay, Awa, what do you? I cut you off. Do you want to keep discussing?
Yes. I don't know. I just would like to ask Igor if the last job in the world is a truck driver, and he has to, or her wife, his wife has to work. He would have to accept that.
No. I would make enough money so she or I wouldn't work on this job, because I know that this job is very hard work, a very routine job to drive a truck or a bus. It's not interesting, and it's not for me and not for my
wife.
Not for my wife.
Why do you decide instead of your wife? Maybe she has another meaning, because a lot of women want to work because it's boring to stay at home.
That's a very good point. Well, Igor's not. Igor can answer for himself, but he also didn't say that women shouldn't work. He just said certain types of jobs. I think.
I said that I not decide, but I can say that my wife wouldn't want. She would be. Zach, if you want some if you know some words in English that describe a person that is not good for this job, it's sensitive. How to say that?
Submissive.
Emotional.
No, emotional. It's.
I can't think of any words off the top of my head, but sensitive maybe. Yeah, sensitive. I think a lot of people would agree that genetically maybe. Women are more sensitive, but obviously that has benefits as well, of course, and that they have many things that men don't have. For example, I read something that Queen Elizabeth in England was probably the best monarch of this country that this country has ever had, and most historians would think that. And of course, she was a woman, and most monarchs of this country have been men. So I read an interesting article saying that actually, even though men have been the leaders of most countries and the presidents and the kings and all this, if the situation had been different and we'd had more women because they are more sensitive and blah blah blah, they're better at pleasing people maybe, then there would have been less war, maybe more progress, this kind of thing. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just saying that even if we accept that there are inherent differences, like Igor saying that women are more sensitive and less physical, that doesn't mean that they are. It's not an absolute judgment. You understand? Absolute judgment. It's not saying they are worse or they are better. It's just they are different.
Yeah. Or another word to weak. How we can say weak, but another word.
Yeah, well, weak becomes a bit more of an absolute judgment.
But not weak.
Physically, you mean physically?
No, physically. Okay, but in English I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, nor do I apparently. But I think these are all the sorts of the types of words maybe you're thinking of, sort of maybe emotional.
No, I think it's okay that woman works, but I wouldn't want that me to work as a driver or truck driver. So I do not want that my wife to work on this position.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. Jezebel, are you with us now? Or still no? No. Okay. Metin just joined. I'm trying to think. Awa, are there many dual income households in your country? Do you know what a dual income household is?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Are there many dual income households in France?
Dual income households?
Yes.
You mean women who stay at home?
No. So income is what you earn for your job. This is an income. Dual means two. Right? Dual.
Okay.
So dual income means there are two incomes coming into the house. This means the man works and the woman works.
Okay. And the question is for...
In France, are there many dual income households?
Okay. Yes, I think the most couples work, and so there is two incomes.
Okay. How about Kevin? What's it like in China? You said it's not really. It's mostly single income households.
No, actually, in my city, there has been a trend that in past 10 years, more and more women go to work because we need to pay a lot of bills for our livings, and so more and more of our families become two income household.
Dual income. Well, you can probably say two income as well, but dual income is the correct one. Yeah.
Dual income household. Yes. And so we would appoint some foreign workers from other countries to do the household work for us.
Okay.
And the woman can go to make money in the society.
Okay, so actually this perception that you described at the beginning of men being the ones to go out and work, do you think that this perception is being eroded? Eroded means, if you think about a rock, it's eroded, it gets worn down by the elements, it gets, that's when something's eroded, it goes down. Do you think that's happening?
Yeah, it has been evolved, actually, because the main reason is that the woman get higher and more chance of education, and they get higher and higher qualification. They don't want to stay in home.
So this is happening in China. You're saying there's more women are going into education, further education, and having jobs in China.
Yes, especially in Hong Kong.
Especially in Hong Kong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a little pocket that's been almost a bit more influenced by the West than the rest of China. So maybe things come from Hong Kong and then they spread around. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks, Kevin. So we're going to read this article quickly. We'll probably spend 10 or 15 minutes on this. We'll learn get a bit of reading practice, and we'll get some new vocabulary, and then we'll spend the rest of the lesson talking about this some more and keeping the debate going, because I think it's a very interesting topic. So everyone, please bring up the sheet, and we're going to quickly run through the vocabulary task. And I'm going to ask each of you if you can match the word on the left to the definition on the right. I'm going to give you 20 seconds now to look at the definitions on the right. So please read them through so you can try and answer the questions a bit quicker. Okay, so I'm going to ask Metin, can you hear me now? Because you were there at the beginning of the lesson. Metin. Apparently not. Okay, Roman, what do we think traditional means? Some of these are quite easy, so they should be quick. Traditional.
Just a minute.
Sure.
Maybe a mother, father, and their children living together.
No, that could be one example of something that is traditional, but the word traditional actually means something different.
A balanced opinion that satisfies everyone. I understand.
No.
No?
No. Traditional. If a family has traditions or a country has traditions, these are things that...
The wait was a long time.
Ah,
sorry. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. So yeah, our said it there, Roman. It's the way it's been for a long time. If something is a tradition, this is what our country has had or what our society has had for a very long time. It's traditional. Okay. The examples you gave were quite close, but they weren't exactly right. So I'm going to give you the next one as well. Primary. What do you think primary means, Roman? Remember we gave the example of primary caregiver at the beginning.
I don't know. Primary.
You want to have a guess? Primary means first. Think about the concept of first. So there's primary, secondary, tertiary.
The person who earns the money for the family, or the main one.
But we're just looking for the definition of the word primary. Primary is an adjective, right? So it's not a noun. It's not a person. It's the primary something.
I don't know.
The primary caregiver is the most important caregiver in the family. It's the woman, the primary one, the first one.
Yeah, Roman, you said before.
The person who earns money.
No, second. You said.
The main one?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Thank you, Igor, for helping him. You got that. That's it. It's the main one. So the primary means the main anything. The primary elections could be the main elections. The primary, I can't think of too many examples, but it just means the most important. That's primary. Prime means the best or the most important, always. It's like up there. So you can have a prime steak, for example, or a prime cut of a steak, which is the nicest cut of the cow, if you're eating it. Prime number, Inga says as well. Okay, good. So the next one, homemaker, number 3. Kevin.
Yes.
What's homemaker?
Homemaker is a person who looks after the household duties such as cleaning and shopping.
Very good. Yes, that's what a homemaker is. Someone who looks after the household duties. Could be a man or a woman. The breadwinner. The breadwinner, Inga.
It's F, the person who earns the money for the family.
Very good. The breadwinner is someone who wins the bread or brings the food back. This is like the metaphor, but it just means the person who earns the money for the family. A family could have 2 breadwinners, but usually when you talk about the breadwinner, it means there is one in a family.
The most important breadwinner.
Yeah, the most important, the primary breadwinner. Yeah.
The main one.
The main one. Okay, so dual income we just did, so I'm not going to ask you that. Chores. Do we know what chores are? Igor, do you want to give that one a go? Chores.
Yeah, we had a lesson about this. It's what do you do outside your house when you pay the bills, yeah?
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
Or in the house.
It could be outside the house or inside the
Duties
house.
that,
Yes.
duties that need to be done to keep a household clean and functioning.
Absolutely.
So chores, and the second word is with M, that are outside the house. Chores and,
I don't know. I think like
when you go to pay bills.
Yeah.
Bills are not only bills, something to do in the city. Chores and...
If I don't know if it just begins with M. I don't know. If you can give me another letter or something else, I can. Maybe.
No, I don't remember exactly what I asked you.
Was this my lesson? Did I teach you this?
No. It's another teacher.
Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, chores usually means around the house. It can be any kind of activity you have to do that has to be done. You don't really want to do it, but you have to do it. Normally, it means the house, but you can use it in other cases as well. You can say household chores if you want to be very specific. Also, a chore is just something that requires effort. So it can be a chore to talk to my friend if he talks too much. It's such a chore. It's so much effort. I don't want to do it.
I found the word. It's not with M, but with E, errands. Errands, yeah. When you go to do something in city, errands.
How do you spell that? Errand, yes. Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah, errand. So that's not a good word that Igor just introduced. If you have to go to shopping or pick up the things or go and pay bills or you have to do things, it's called an errand, which is spelled like this, E-R-R-A-N-D. So I have many errands to do today. I have to go and fix my shoe. I have to go and pick up the shopping. I have to do this and that. That's an errand. Okay, so errands and chores are quite similar, actually. Very good, Igor. Okay, nuclear. We're not talking about nuclear bombs. Number 8, hour.
I don't know.
If you think about an atom, do you know what an atom is?
Yes. An atom, yes.
You know the nucleus of the atom. Do you know what that is?
The center, no?
Yes, exactly. So if something is nuclear, it means tightly together, right?
Okay.
So look at the definitions and see what you think.
So maybe a mother, father, and their children living together?
Very good. So a nuclear family, if we talk about a nuclear family, this is describing a mother, father, and their children who all live together. Does anyone know what the opposite of a nuclear family is?
Unnuclear.
Unnuclear. That is one opposite that doesn't exist, but it could. We talk about extended family. So nuclear is just talking about the mother, father. If you have an extended family, then this can also mean, if you talk about my extended family, this can mean anyone who, you could just be talking about your uncles, your aunts, your grandfather, other people that are not part of the nuclear family. But also you might describe a family where those extended members will live together with the family, right? But more often when you say extended family, you're talking about people who are not your mother, father, and brother, okay? It depends on number 8, Roman.
It depends on, yes?
It depends on, yes, number 8.
Yes, it is determined by something.
Yes, it is determined by something.
It is determined by determined.
Yes, so something depends on something it's determined by it. The result can only happen if this other thing does happen or does not happen. Okay, you have something else is necessary to get the results. Okay, pressure, number 9. Kevin.
Yeah, pressure is meaning stress.
Very good. Yep. Number 10. This is a good one to know. Happy medium. Inga.
A balanced option that satisfies everyone.
Yes. A balanced option that satisfies everyone. That's what a happy medium is. Okay? It's in the medium. It's not too much, too high. It's not too low. It's medium and it's a happy medium. So if you are negotiating with someone, sometimes you can look for common ground, we call this, or a happy medium, something that you can both be happy with. Okay? So it's good to remember that. Okay, let's read this very short article. Can I ask Igor to begin the first paragraph?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the terms pink jobs and blue jobs? It wasn't long ago when men and women held traditional roles at home and in the workplace. Women were the primary caregivers and homemakers, and men were the sole breadwinners. Wars and women's rights changed how average households are run. When traditions go out the window, gender roles are the first thing to go.
Okay, very good. And the next paragraph, Awa, can you read that one for us?
In many parts of the world, households are now dual income. Two adults share the bills and the chores.
Chores
And the chores. Women go back to work after having children. They are educated and hold careers similar to their spouses. Children are raised by a village of helpers. This includes childcare workers, extended family,
like we were just talking about.
Okay, extended family and community services. The nuclear family isn't the norm anymore. Single-parent families are more and more common. Some families are run by 2 men or 2 women. Many people opt to stay single.
Excellent. Kevin, do you know what the norm is?
The norm is?
The norm, there's expression in that last paragraph. Nuclear families are no longer the norm.
It's not the standard.
The standard, very good.
Yeah.
The norm, if everyone thinks of the word normal, someone is normal or not normal, this is like a happy medium. It's ordinary, right? Not too much, not too little. The norm is the standard. It's what everyone has. Or
Average.
Yes, another very good expression for this, which was also the name of a famous British rock band in the 80s, is from Latin, but we say this in English. It's called the status quo. Status quo. 2 words, but you will see this quite frequently. What is the status quo? That means what is the norm? What is the standard? So now this article is saying that nuclear families are no longer the status quo. Okay, so the second to last paragraph, please, Inga.
Okay, was life easier when gender roles were specific? That depends who you ask. A woman may say no. She had to do all of the work at home and never got a break from the children. A man may say no too. He was out of the home for most of the day. All of the pressure to support the family was on him. What would the children say if you asked them?
Very good, thank you. That's okay. And we'll ask who has not read. Roman, can you do the last 2 lines? Sorry.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, as human, we are always looking for a happy medium. We want what we don't have, and we have what others want. This is one personality trait that men and women share. Who takes out the trash in your family?
Okay, good question to end it on. All right, we're going to do quick comprehension questions on that, just to make sure we all understood. The first one is, what are pink and blue jobs? Let's ask Awa, what are pink and blue jobs?
I think a pink job is a job for a woman and a blue job for a man.
Yes, very good. In Sweden, I think I mentioned before, I'm half Swedish. When they are so much about equality and men and women being treated exactly equally, in my opinion, too much, because I do think there are some differences and some good and some bad, and for both. But when children are very young, in nursery, girls would have like pink cups, and boys would have blue cups, because blue is the traditional color for boys and pink for girls. But in Sweden, they swapped the cups. So boys are drinking from pink cups and girls are drinking from blue cups. This is just like a metaphor, but they do this all throughout the children's education. So when they grow up, they think everyone's completely equal. Yeah. Just an interesting fact. What role do men have in households where women primarily look after the children? Kevin, can you get that one? What role do men have in households where women primarily look after the children?
The primary role of men was the breadwinner.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a bit of a badly phrased question because it's talking about the past, isn't it? It says women were the primary caregivers and homemakers, and men were the sole breadwinners. Whereas now it's not very specific, but it says now there's more kind of dual incomes. So it's not a great question, to be honest. Let's go on to the next one, though. What does the reading say about the traditional nuclear family? Should definitely get this one. Igor, what do you think about that?
That they're not standard.
Yes. Then what was the word?
Norm.
Not the norm. The standard or the norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And why was life? Sorry, according to the author, was life easier when gender roles were more specific? Was life easier when gender roles were more specific? Inga, what does he say about that?
Men and women still have difficulties with their lives when gender roles is more specific.
Yes, they still both had difficulties, but was life? So you're saying it wasn't easier?
Yeah, because both, if you will ask,
they were both saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Okay. And why does the author mention trash in the last sentence? I mean, it's a pretty obvious one, but Awa, what do you think about that?
I think traditionally, taking the trash out is a man job.
Okay.
So
because it smells.
Sorry?
Because it smells.
Yeah, it smells. It's it's
Okay.
a man job, and I think it's a kind of ironic sentence.
It's an ironic.
Yeah, to say that to ask if the roles have changed in all the family.
Yes, in every society or whatnot. Yeah. And who takes out the trash in your family?
No, I don't.
You don't? Do you have a boyfriend or husband?
I have a boyfriend. He
takes it
out.
Okay, and does he kill the spiders as well?
He what?
Does he kill the spiders?
Of course.
Okay. So before, when Igor was talking, you thought that there were some jobs that that women should be allowed, and encouraged to do all those jobs. But now we're saying that there are some jobs that only men should do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just, I'm just pointing it out. I don't know what Igor would say about that, but
no, that's not a problem for me to take out the trash.
Okay.
I can do it, but if my boyfriend asks to do that, I let him do it.
Okay.
That's
fine.
it.
If he wants to, if he volunteers, then he can do it. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, if you really want to, otherwise I would do it. Fine. Okay, let's quickly do these 5, and then we'll spend the rest of the class talking about this again. One role of a something is to keep a home clean. Kevin.
Yeah. What do men have in the household?
So we're using the words on the right, sorry. We're on the vocabulary review section, and it says one role of a something is to keep a home clean.
Oh, one role of is to keep home clean. One role of homemaker.
Yes, same one as you did before. One role of a homemaker is to keep a home clean. parents have the added something of finding suitable childcare. Roman. Parents have the added something of finding suitable childcare.
I did something, maybe efforts added that.
It has to be one of the words on the right. You see the list of 6 words?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see. Okay, I think pressure.
Yes, like stress. They have the added stress of having to find suitable childcare. When I lost my job, my wife became the... Inga?
Breadwinner.
Yep, when I lost my job, my wife became the breadwinner. Even small children can help out with household. Igor?
Chores.
Chores, very good. And the last one, a something family refers to a mother, father, and their kids. We already did this, but let's ask Kevin again.
More children can help with household chores.
No. It's the last one. A something family, a blank family refers to a mother, father, and kids.
A nuclear family.
Yes. A nuclear family, exactly, refers to a mother, father, and kids. Okay, great. So we're going to ask some questions now to get the ball rolling and get some discussion happening between us. Hopefully you guys learned some new words there. First question is, do you see yourself as a typical man or woman? Why or why not? And I'm going to ask Roman that question.
I don't see myself as a typical man and woman because, first of all, personally, I breadwinner in my family. However, my wife work at home. She work in the internet, on the internet. And I work in shift, so a lot of time I spent at home, work in shift. So sometimes I work at night, sometimes a day or night. So when she works at home, I do all housework.
The chores. You do all the chores.
Chores, yes, I do chores. This because she on the work, but actually she sit in the second room, in the next room, but I do her work.
Excellent.
Because I think it's because couple should share duties. And I have the same opinion about children, because usually women care about children. But it's not so difficult for men to do the same.
Do you have children, Roman?
No, I don't have children, but I have very small niece, and I take care for her from her burning. Yes.
Okay. Take care of. You take care of someone.
Take care of. Yes.
And you feel that a man is just as capable of doing this as a woman.
Yes, of course, and it's not so difficult, because when we really it's difficult for women to do all this work. All work which connect with house and with children, because yes, I understand that it is our tradition, but it's totally unfair. Because usually in our country, women work. Yes, women work, and after work, women
has to look after the household as well, right?
Yes. And men after work usually return, have a meal, and lay on the sofa with beer and watch TV.
Yes.
So I think it's unfair.
Okay.
So I prefer to share all duties.
Okay, very good. So thank you for sharing that, Roman. By the way, when someone's talking, if someone else disagrees or wants to comment on it, feel free. Just because I asked one person a question, it doesn't mean that we can't, we all share our opinions on this. But Roman pointed out a very interesting trend that I think Kevin remarked on earlier, which is that sometimes for economic reasons, women have to begin working now more than they have before in certain countries. They have the option to do that. And because they are working, then the question comes up, well, we both have jobs. Why should women also have to do all of the household chores and looking after the children, all this stuff that traditionally they had to do? And so then that is what helps to change the perception in those countries or in those societies to then so men start to think, such as Roma, well, actually, that's not very fair at all. She's my wife, I love her, we should have equal, at the very least, we should have equal, put in equal effort into this household. And so for the economic factor, that's what kind of changes the social side as well, and people's perception of the different roles. And Kevin, you said the same sort of things happening in China too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Okay.
In China.
Excellent. Okay, good. So my next question then is, who do you think has life easier, girls or boys? This is a bit of a loaded question. I'm going to ask Inga that question to begin with. I might ask one or two of you the question, but who has life easier, boys or girls? Or men or women?
I really don't know what to answer because it depends on what do you mean as emotional life. It's life in work. Or
well, you know what? Do you know what the expression quality of life means? Just overall quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, there's The Economist and a few other organizations do a quality of life index. I don't know exactly how, but they have very carefully thought out ways to measure someone's quality of life in different countries. And
they do a survey, maybe.
Yeah, they do. Right, but exactly. But I'm talking about what kinds of questions do they ask people. But yeah, they do surveys.
Are you happy? Are not happy? Why are you happy?
Yeah,
where you work? Where you don't work?
Yes, but there's also been research that has shown that self-reported happiness, which means if I am being asked how happy I am, is often actually very inaccurate. It's not the best way to find out someone's happiness is not to ask them.
Yeah, but they need to spend somewhere money that they have in budget, so they do this
Anyway.
research for nothing to spend the money, to have salaries.
You think it's crap?
What crap? What is crap?
Crap, like rubbish.
Yeah, because I worked in this area of research in one of the international company that conduct researches over the world. So I saw in my eyes what is research about what you buy, what you happy.
But there are different ones, and for example, The Economist is a very, very well respected publication. People read it all over the world and think very highly of it, and they have very high standards. So
and
I think
the company that I worked is well known. You know about this company, and most of the people around the world know about it. But I don't want to say.
Please. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's the international company.
Okay. Okay, so Inga, quality of life you can measure by many different things. Like how happy are you? Do you have a close family? It's a bit philosophical to say like can you sum up someone's life altogether? But try, like give it your best shot. Like if one or two men and women are born with very similar equivalent personalities, for example, then in terms of the way that society treats them, I suppose it depends what part of the world you live in as well. Because I think most of us are, well, that's not actually true. With the exception of Kevin, we're all kind of from the Western world. What do you think, like, if someone was born into this world, is it easier for them to be a man or a woman?
I think
well, I meant Inga, but by all means.
No, it's okay.
You don't want to answer this. You don't want to touch this question. Okay, carry on. The next one will be for you. Don't worry. Kevin, go ahead. You had an opinion.
Yeah, I think the woman has a easier life when a boy or girl was born.
Mm-hmm.
The woman has an easier life because. In my society, we have because the role of a man has higher responsibilities, and we expect a man should be strong, and a man should be smart, and the man should protect their family. So I think the man is taking more responsibilities than those of women.
Okay.
So the woman was is having a easier life than men.
Okay. What about fine? Does anyone disagree with that? Or do we all generally agree?
I think that it's the same. Could you repeat the question?
Do men or women have an easier life? Who has an easier life?
It's the same life. No one have the easier. I don't have any
But do you not think?
distinguishing.
But what about what Kevin said about men? Still have the responsibility of even though things are changing, in many places it's still the same sort of it's considered the man's duty to start a family, protect a family, to go out and fight and get money to support his family.
So what? This is not very hard to make money if you are well-rounded. It's not so hard to find a good job.
Wow, don't know about that. Depends where you live, what your skills are, that kind of thing. Okay, all right. On the other hand,
from my point of view.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course. On the other hand, women have to deal with childbirth. That's not easy. Women have a lot of, I think, if historically things are changing, but historically women have been seen as, they only were given the right to vote in many countries 100 years ago. So they were very powerless in society. And a lot of women still think this. So Igor could says that he would be surprised to see women in certain jobs.
No, I'm not surprised. I see many women, but I wouldn't choose, if I would, that woman, I wouldn't choose this job.
Okay.
Me. It's okay. I see many women, I don't care. But I would want that my wife wouldn't work in this position.
Right. Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of women like Awa, for example, who's like, actually, no, I do want to work in those positions. And your opinion's completely fine, Igor. I'm not saying anything against it. But I'm just saying, if everyone in society had this opinion, then it would be difficult for women to get those jobs if they wanted them, right? Because everyone, if you're an employer, for example, and you think more men should have that job because it's more suitable, because they're stronger or whatever, then those women wouldn't be able to be hired. So they'd feel very disempowered. The word is disempowered.
No, I would choose the woman if she will want to work really and she has the abilities, capabilities. But for me, it's not something, I don't know, very beautiful to see a woman that works physically. It's not something, wow.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But yes, go ahead.
Bring a question. Igor, you said you don't want to have as a wife woman who work, as a driver, taxi driver, or something like that. And what about the woman who earns more money than you?
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's very. What even?
Yes, I mean that. Is it a problem that for some men, I know that they feel uncomfortable when a woman in family earn more than them?
And when a woman in a family earns more, when she earns, remember to put the S on the end.
Yes.
Yeah, but Igor's not one of those. You think you're okay with that?
I think that I don't care if she likes the job and she earns money. It's very good that she is, let's say, she has more salary than me, so she is more capable than me. It's very good.
Yes.
I do not envy about that.
And how do you think in that case must money be
distributed?
What do you mean? How must be distributed?
Yeah, do you mean? I don't really understand the question either, even though I said distributed. But I mean, how should the money be divided between the women?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Igor's saying he doesn't care, right? Like it doesn't bother you if the man has more of the woman.
About money divided? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's what you're saying, right, Igor?
I think money is not. Oh, it's not something.
I just muted.
Well, where is the phone?
In our, but for some reason the mute's not working.
Money is not something day by day what you think you should think about. So if you have money, it's okay. If you do not have money, it's bad. But if you have money, you can put all your money in bank and deposit, and it's more is the easier way to deal. What?
In the bank.
In the bank, to put the money in the bank, so it's the easier way to deal with money without problems.
Okay. Awa, what's it like with your boyfriend? Do you earn more than he does, or does he earn more than you do? Or
I earn more than he does.
Okay. And what, are you both very comfortable with that?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That's not a problem. We share the bills and that's it.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Good. That's it's a very modern household. Some people. Bye, Alice. Thank you for coming. Lovely to see you. Some people, men today, there's a phenomenon that is becoming more widespread, which is a stay-at-home dad. Stay-at-home dad and working mum. So you can say someone can be, I know you don't have children, Noah, but I was just thinking about it. So a working mum is a mum who works, obviously, or a stay-at-home dad probably doesn't work. Probably they become like the housewife used to be, but the male version. But actually they can work as well. If they can do freelance work, it literally just means they're staying at home if you're a stay-at-home dad. Okay, so in our example, we have a girl earning more than her boyfriend, and they're both very happy with it. So I think that's quite an enlightened way of looking at things.
Zach, ask how much more she earned than her boyfriend to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, are we talking about like
$100 or $200 or $50?
No, just let me see. So it's about $500. No, euros.
Yes.
So maybe more dollars. That's the difference between
per what? Per month?
Per month.
Okay, per month.
It's not so much. It's not so much.
It can be. It depends.
I think the difference is about 2,000 euros for my country. For Europe, I think 3,000, 4,000. This is the real difference. That's
3,000 per month.
Difference.
Yes, but per month?
In your case, or are you talking about in general in your country?
I think if we speak, you asked that you who earn more money, yeah?
Yes.
So I think $500, yeah? It's not a difference.
It is a difference. It's just not a huge difference. That's like 6,000. That's like 6,000 euros a year. That's 6,000.
I mean, it's not a real difference. Something distinguishing for me.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take another 10,000 euros from your salary, Igor, and give that to our, and then we're going to see how the relationship changes in their relationship. I'm gonna move the discussion on a little bit. We haven't got that much longer, but we should definitely go on a bit if you can stay. I want to talk about child rearing or child care. Do we think Roman was saying in his household? Obviously, he spends more time not with his child but with his niece, and maybe one day he will have children. And I wanted to think: do we think that men or women are more suited? Because Roman said that he thinks they're completely equal. Kevin, let me ask you, do you think men or women are more suited for looking after and bringing up children? Or do you think the child would benefit equally from having both influences in his life or her life?
Actually, I think women will perform better than men to take care of the children. Because women, they are, how to say, they have the woman is good at expressing their love by words and by their behavior to the children. But the men, they are usually hide their feeling. They are not good at showing their love to their children. and especially in my society. Yeah, and so the children are usually more intimate to the mother instead of the father, and the father usually take the roles as a more serious guy to them, and if they do anything wrong, the daddy is responsible to do the punishment.
Yes. Okay. So it's like a good cop. Does everyone understand the expression good cop, bad cop? If you're ever interrogating someone or something, it's taken from like Hollywood films, but should always be a good cop and a bad cop. So one's to get the answers from someone. Like one is punishing and the other one's like, it's okay, you just have to help us. Don't worry, we're on your side. And then the other one is like, we're going to send you to jail. It's going to be... So you're saying a parental care should be a bit like that. That you need to have a balance, and maybe the men have to be the ones who are more concerned with discipline.
Yes.
But so you said women are better with the children, but actually it benefits a child to have both parents in their life, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because they can learn from both the mother and the father.
The father. Yeah. I think women are maybe, in my opinion, are more intuitive than men. Does everyone understand intuitive? Can anyone explain? Igor, can you explain intuitive?
But what do you mean? I understand, but what do you mean?
I mean, they can respond to the needs of their children, I think, a little bit better, because maybe always something to do with the biological connection, maybe, but they were, obviously the father has one as well, but the fact that she carried him, you know what I mean? So if the child needs something, then women is more likely to know, how to provide it and give the kind of, especially when the child is very young, to give the kind of emotional support that a child would need, I think. But maybe that's just conditioning. It could all be, do we know? So that's what intuitive means. It means sort of almost being telepathic, to be able to tell something. But it could also be conditioning. Maybe we just, as a society, these have been the roles for so long that women, are the ones that take time off work, or the ones that spend most time with the child when it's very young, that they have passed on wisdom to their daughters and this kind of thing, and this is how it is, but it doesn't mean that it has to be that way. So maybe actually men can develop their sensitive side and become sort of closer to their children. On the other hand, women can become a bit harder on their children maybe and provide more discipline and maybe take on some of the aspects of the traditional role of the father in a household.
Yes.
Do you agree with that, Roman?
I would like to say something about sensitive, because personally I think yes, each mother has understanding of child. However, if you spend a lot of time with a baby, you become understanding. Yeah. Yes, and you got understanding too. Deal with a lot of men actually don't spend a lot of time with children, especially with little children. When a very little child, we usually take this job for our wife. But sometimes there is a situation when we should do this work. And if you spend a lot of time with child, you begin to understand it.
Yes, it.
I don't how it.
I think you just contradicted yourself. You said if you spend a lot of time with a child, you begin to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we know what you mean for sure. I think that's true, and I think that's part of the problem is because of these roles. Sometimes men feel like they are stuck inside a stereotype, and if they want to spend more time with their children, or if they want to have more of a balance, and the women can go out and work more, then maybe they think their friends won't treat them, as well. Everyone here knows the expression to be under someone's thumb, for example. So to be under the thumb means that you are controlled completely by someone. So if you say of a man that he is under the thumb, this means that his wife completely controls everything he does or whatever. So sometimes, this is getting off topic a little bit, but sometimes men feel like that their friends will be, tease them, so they have to be manly and do the manly thing, and they can't stay at home and look after the children because that's the women's job. Even though they might want to do that, there is still a lot of pressure in society. This is still evolving. It's still happening around us. It hasn't finished yet. Who knows where we'll be in 50 years. But it's difficult because sometimes people want to change, but they feel like there's pressure on them not to do that. Maybe women want to go out and try and have like an executive job, in a high-powered job in a company, but they feel like there's so much misogyny is like sexism. It's a very good word. M-I-S-O-G-Y-N-Y. This means like prejudice against women in particular. Okay. I think you can be misogynistic about other things, but generally when you hear misogynistic or misogyny, this is like, they're just women, they can't do this or whatever. And that still exists in the workplace. So maybe sometimes women want to go out, but they feel like there's too much pressure and then they don't do it. So society has to change from the inside, and it's a very long process. I think it takes a lot of time. Okay, cool. So I think we've heard some interesting views. Luckily, it didn't devolve into a big argument because everyone was very mature in how they put their point across. And I'm going to end with a riddle. Everyone know what a riddle is? Riddle?
No.
A riddle is like a puzzle. It's a puzzle with words. So I could, you'll know what it is in a second. It's like an enigma or a mystery. The riddle is a father and a son were in a car crash together, and unfortunately the son died. The father died in the car crash, but the son was able to survive, but he needed to have an operation. So the son was taken to a hospital, and the doctor at the hospital took one look at the boy, and he said, "I can't operate on this boy," the doctor said. "He's my son." So the riddle is, how could the doctor be the boy's son? How could the boy be the doctor's son?
Because this doctor is women.
Yeah, there you go. I should have told you that riddle at the beginning of the lesson, and I don't think you would have got it. And then at the end of the lesson, you would have got it, and we would be like, yeah. I don't know.
So what is the idea of this riddle?
Is that most people, that's perfect. If you don't understand why that's a riddle, then you're definitely not a typical man. That's good. Because most people, when they hear this riddle, if they haven't just done a class on gender roles, will assume that a doctor is a man.
Oh, okay.
Most doctors are men. And so everyone thinks, oh, the doctor's a man, so how could this boy possibly be the doctor's son if the father died in a car crash? But if we've just been talking about this for an hour, then it might be a bit more obvious that obviously there are female doctors as well.
Strange riddle.
It's very common, actually. You can look it up. It's maybe it was more common like 10 years ago or something when we hadn't got where we are now. But I wonder if you would have thought it was strange. If I told you at the beginning of the class, if you would have thought it was so strange. But maybe. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. It was nice to see all of you. Next week, I'm going to be doing a grammar class on the past tense. And if you want some practice on that, I'll be doing that at Inga's request. And I'll probably be doing another class on a modal verb quiz. So I know you all haven't been to my modal verb classes, but you can come along anyway. You should still learn something from it. It'll be a quiz with all the different modal verbs like should, could, might, could, would, can, those kinds of things. And then I'll just do 2 other classes similar to this one where we discuss sort of topics of relevance in today's society, I think. Cool. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
If possible, could you please do your grammar classes on Sunday?
Both of them?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yes. I'll do one after the other on Sunday for you.
No, okay, because I will not able to join on Saturday.
That's okay. I will not be able to join. I will not be.
Okay, thank you.
That's all right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'll do them both on Sunday. Have a good week. Lovely to meet you. You have a good week as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.